Okay, family, we're going to finish it out with The Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. Failure, part 3. Ego is identifying with the body as I, not as the doer. That's Damon Redman right there. We don't need pity, our own or anyone else's. We need purpose, poise, and patience. Failure and adversity are relative and unique to each of us. Almost always, your road to victory goes through a place called failure. In order to taste success again, we've got to understand what led to this moment or these years of difficulty. What went wrong and why? We must deal with the situation in order to move past it. We will need to accept it and push through it. Failure is always coming uninvited, but through our ego, far too many of us allow it to stick around. We carry it to the story. All the failures we've made, we make it our story now. We think that we're the failures. We must be strong and have the confidence and willingness to endure. A sense of right and wrong, a purpose. The ego adds self-injury to every injury you experience. So that's what the ego is. It adds your body. It makes your body think, the body-mind think that it's real. Ego always does that. That's why you got to put the brakes on it. Plutarch said, the future bears down upon each one of us with all the hazards of the unknown. The only way out is through it. I said that before and I'll say it again. The only way to beat the ego is to go through it. Plutarch said the same thing. A live time or a dead time. Dead time is when people are passive and waiting. Alive time is when people are learning, acting, and utilizing every second. So you have dead time or alive time. This moment is not your life, but it is a moment in your life. How will you use it? Lacking the ability to examine ourselves, we reinvest our energy into exactly the patterns of behavior that caused our problems to begin with. In life, we all get stuck with dead time. Its occurrence isn't in our control. Its use, on the other hand, is. The effort is enough. The less attached we are to the outcome, the better. This is a tough one. You have expectations that you cannot have. You have to think without thinking, without thoughts. Yeah, you got to think without creating thoughts, because the thoughts attach to the outcome or the object, which is how you get jammed up. That's where it turns into an emotional memory when you get in that cycle. When fulfilling our own standards is what fills us with pride and self-respect. When the effort, not the result, good or bad, is enough. Success is peace of mind, which is a direct result of self-satisfaction and knowing you made the effort to do your best, to become the best that you are capable of becoming. Ambition means trying your well-being to what other people say or do. Sanity means trying it to your own actions. So ambition is doing it for other people. Sanity is doing it for yourself. When you're doing your work, do it well. Then let go and let God, as they say. That's all that needs to be said. That's all there needs to be, is to do the work, do it well, do your best, let it go, and let God do the rest. Fight Club moments. The world, hold on, let me get a drink of water. Just giving you the raw video, the uncut version, till we splice it up. Content. Like my team told me, start doing these videos. Content is king. So this is what I'm doing. Fight Club moments. The world breaks everyone, and afterwards many are strong at the broken places. But those that will not break, it kills. The world can show you the truth, but no one can force you to accept it. Sometimes because we can't face what's been said or done, we do the unthinkable in response to the unbearable. We escalate. This is the ego in its purest and most toxic form. The recklessness that we do. Here's a solution. Face the symptoms. Cure the disease. Ego makes it so hard, it's easier to delay, to double down, to deliberately avoid seeing the changes we need to make in our lives. But change begins by hearing the criticisms and the words of the people around you, even if those words are mean-spirited, angry, and hurtful. It means weighing them, discarding the ones that don't matter, and reflecting on the ones that do. Discernment. In the end, the only way you can appreciate your progress is to stand on the edge of the hole you dug for yourself. Look down inside it and smile fondly at the bloody claw prints that marked your journey up the walls, because you made it. Draw the line. The problem is that when we get our identity tied up in our work, we worry that any kind of failure will then say something bad about us as a person. Ego kills what we love. Sometimes it comes close to killing us too. Act with fortitude and honor. If you cannot reasonably hope for a favorable extrication, do not plunge deeper. Have the courage to make a full stop and walk away. When we lose, we have a choice. Are we going to make this a lose-lose situation for ourselves or everyone involved? Or will it be a lose and then a win? When success begins to slip through your fingers for whatever reason, the response isn't to grip and claw so hard that you shatter it to pieces. It's to understand that you must work yourself back to the aspirational phase. You must get back to first principles and best practices to get back on your feet. You'll bounce back, but you gotta let go. He who will do anything to avoid failure will almost certainly do something worthy of a failure. You gotta embrace the failure sometime. If it didn't work, it didn't work. The only real failure is abandoning your principles. That's when you really fail. That's what I have not done yet. So I've had failures, but I have not abandoned my principles. I've held on to them. Maintain your own scorecard. Vain men never hear anything but praise. Your potential, the absolute best you're capable of. That's the metric to measure yourself against. The standards, what you present and develop for yourself. That's who you judge, the highest and best sense of self that you have within the deeper sense of why you're here and who you are and what you're supposed to be doing. When you take the ego out of the equation, other people's opinions and external markers won't matter as much. A formula for resilience. So your ultimate potential, your highest percent, the ultimate potential that you can manifest, the ideal self that you want to create, based on whatever you've come up with at the time, the greatest attributes that you can offer to the world and to yourself and to the world. That's the measuring stick. That's where you want to stay at. Holding your ego against a standard, inner standard, makes it less and less likely that excess or wrongdoings is going to be tolerated by you. Fortitude, internal fortitude is what they're talking about. Because it's not about what you can get away with. It's about what you should or shouldn't do. Let me say that again. It's not about what you can get away with. It's about what you should and should not do. A person who judges himself based on his own standard doesn't crave the spotlight, the same way as someone who lets applause dictate his success. Not that we are endlessly pursuing more as if we're racked with greed, but instead we're inching our way toward real improvement with discipline rather than disposition. Always love. Attempting to destroy something out of hate or ego often ensures that it will be preserved and disseminated forever. You know what is better response to an attack or a slight or something you don't like? Love. That's right. Love. Love heals everything. Love is the ultimate glue, the invisible magnet that creates all the connectiveness, the connections throughout the universe. I am one with all through love, and love and all is one with me. Therefore, I act with the highest consideration for all. But that's all through love. That's one of my affirmations, by the way. Meanwhile, love is right there. Egoless, open, positive, vulnerable, peaceful, productive. For everything that comes next, ego is the enemy. I don't like work. No man does. But I like what is in the work. The chance to find myself. That's a quote by Joseph Conrad. See much, study much, suffer much. That is the path to wisdom. Not to aspire or to seek out ego, to have success without ego, to push through failure with strength, not ego. And that conscious light within gives you the strength to push through the ego. Working to refine our habitual thoughts, working to clamp down on destructive impulses, these are not simply the moral requirements of any decent person. They will make us more successful. They will help us navigate that treacherous water that's ambition, will require us to travel, and they are also their own reward. Oh man, that was a great book, and that ends the book. Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. And we'll see you on the other side. Peace.